I feel like in order for me to be consistent with being on those platforms, I just have to hire somebody to manage the content for me. I will have times where I do really good and I will make my post and I get off. But then what happens is I go back on to check to see how the post is doing. Or you get consumed with you get consumed with who's liking it. And then you go
how addicting.
Then you try to see, okay, this is a new person. And then you go look at their
that
page.
shit is a drug. I don't even y'all like when
What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the $1 Million Mind Podcast. I'm your guy, Kai Speaks, and we rocked here with my co-host, Heavy House Jazz. How you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing.
Amazing?
Every day.
Yeah. We've been having some good conversations lately.
I know.
It's been exciting. I keep saying it's been exciting having you on, Jazz, because I feel like now with just adding some new perspective to the show, some new dialogue, it just makes these conversations that much more heavy because we got Heavy House Jazz in it. So we about to bring y'all some heavy conversations. And one about social media, Jazz. How you feeling about the social media?
Social media. Man, let's talk. Let's talk about social media. It gets heavy, right?
It's different.
Social media is a big part of our life. From business to some people that's
socializing.
That's the only social interaction they have.
But that's not necessarily a good thing.
I know that. That's the problem.
That's not an excuse.
But, social media is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It's what drove, even dollars and cents to be more valuable in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my head goes to a whole other aspect of positive in Kenya, they never knew what we were doing over here. They're mimicking us. I mean, things are looking better over there just because they have social media.
Yeah.
They have
a lot
access
of positives
to information. And hopefully that's what we're using it for. But it can become very addictive. Just like, any drug, any too much of anything is not good. So, he who consumes your mind consumes your time. And time you can never get back.
You can't get it back.
And unwell spent time. And I can contest. I've sat there in the bed. I have this plan. Boom, I start scrolling. Man, like I said, it's 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. By that time, it's traffic. You're going nowhere fast. You're going nowhere.
Yeah.
So that phone, that social media, that thing.
And it's not
all
even,
I can say is that thing.
Yeah, that thing, because it's a plethora of things too. It's much more than just an app. It's the Matrix. Like when we go back and we watch that movie, and it's like you realize they wasn't talking about them little robot things or what his name was, Mr. Jones or whatever that agent was that was kept following you. It's much deeper than that. It's like this is a real thing that we are a part of.
This is a capitalistic mindset right there in your hand.
Yeah.
It's right there controlling you every day. You want to talk about modern day slavery? Every minute on your phone that you want to talk about being a black person is you want to stop the black man from being killed, yet that's the only thing that scrolls across your screen. You are agreeing to staying in chains.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
And it's so crazy. This is like...
I don't watch it.
And the crazy thing is, what people don't want to realize is these killings, these shootings, they're not happening as often as we think. And it's like we're getting pushed this information because they want us to see it. It's again just pushing fear, pushing difference, pushing separatists, and it's just another part of the game that they playing. And we're not on the same. We're not even playing the same game. No. It's like we thinking we playing the same game, but we're not playing the same game.
They have the time. We don't.
Yeah.
You don't. They have the time because you're paying for their time.
Yeah.
And we're just stuck in a box. So sitting here, wanting to. Like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. You've seen millionaires be produced from social media. You've seen people become sustainable, creative. be able to do more products, network with people, all of these amazing things. But when does it become a negative for you?
For you, I like that question too because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
When you
I've never
hear
heard that.
when you hear master manipulator, what was the first thing that came to mind?
I've definitely been in some of this. I mean, when it's that close, you know.
I think it's like so. I think to a certain extent, it's like you have to learn how to manipulate, and I want to say that with a grain of salt because I know just the context of what we think manipulation looks like.
Yeah.
But I'm saying from the aspect of you take the good or the bad out of manipulation and you just call it for what it is, manipulation. And that just means tailoring or creating a circumstance or a situation how you would like it to be seen. That's manipulation. So let's say we got content. Content is being manipulated all the time, from the media manipulating content, directors and producers manipulating content to create a movie. Like, we manipulate all the time. There's good and there's bad. But if we just take that out of it and just learn what manipulation is, then people will have a better idea of this concept. And we all have to learn a bit of manipulation if we want to succeed.
So would you say scrolling through the internet, right, on social media, you know, is a form of manipulation?
I don't think you scrolling through social media is a form of manipulation, but I do feel you are unintentionally participating in the manipulation of because the algorithm is manipulation. So when they have these codes, and when you scrolling on social media and you like a picture, you just unintentionally, because you don't know it, you just unintentionally help the algorithm better manipulate what you're going to see on social media.
Got it.
So if I'm a young man and I'm scrolling on social media and I happen to scroll and my chain of liking pics and posts is football highlight, half naked girl, football highlight, basketball highlight, half naked girl, I'm literally telling Instagram, show me more of this.
Right.
So when you go and you see certain things, it's like you unintentionally are playing a part of that manipulation.
It's wild that you said it because, you know, just talking about the whole aspect of like social media, scrolling, you know, is it healthy for us? You know, we can use it as a tool to network, right? Broaden our horizon, our aspects of different subjects, things like that. But when does it become the manipulator and the controller of our life?
Yeah.
Of us staying in a box.
Yeah.
Of us remaining, you know, in that time wasting zone, in that dream of who we want to be, rather than creating that. You know, and it brings me to us, you know, talking about the whole subject of scrolling.
Yeah. My thing is, like, I feel like as much as I like to be intentional on how I use Instagram or social media, mostly Instagram and TikTok is where I struggle the most. I feel like in order for me to be consistent with being on those platforms, but to not be a target of those platforms, I just have to hire somebody to manage the content for me at this point. It's really hard because, like, I would have times where I do really good and I will make my post and I get off. But then what happens is I go back on to check to see how the post is doing, and then I forget that that's what I was doing. The next thing I know, I'm scrolling again. Or you get consumed with, you get consumed with who's liking it, and then you go,
how addicting.
then you try to see, okay, this is a new person, and then you go look at their
that
page.
shit is a drug. I don't even, y'all, like even me just listening to you and then me thinking about it and then thinking about somebody's stories. Like, if you ever hear a crackhead story about the first time that they had crack, they talk about this euphoric.
Yeah.
I'm not lying.
It's a drug.
Yeah, they talk about this euphoric feeling that they always are trying to catch again. And when I just sat there and said, like, you know, that dream, you know, you see, boom, you see that new bag, you see that body, you see this money, you see all the, you know, the positive or even all the negative.
And negative experiences help you release endorphins too.
Listen, to the point where you feel like you had a whole day, did work. This is how they know that AI in the metaverse was gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll literally sit there and shit on yourself
Mm.
as you scroll.
Mm.
You'll walk to the bathroom never knowing what you've done in the conscience scrolling on the phone.
That's
This
crazy.
shit it's really a drug, and it's a positive. How do we direct our energy and our scrolling to not actually harm us, but help us in some way? Because I don't think we're ever gonna stop scrolling.
Yeah. It's tough. This is one thing that did help me when I was being very intentional and consistent on this with limiting my scrolling.
Yep.
So on the iPhone, there's a feature where you type in color filters. Yeah, color filters. You thought I was going to talk about screen time.
Yeah.
Nah, color filters. So you type in color filters, you can change your phone from full color to grayscale with just a little swipe. And what it does is make your phone more boring, because naturally colors are the main things why we're releasing these endorphins and why we are attracted to the content we see, right? That BBL don't look the same if you can't see the color of the bikini, you can't see the color of her skin.
This is why I'm winning.
Yeah.
It's because I turn my thing on low. I don't watch TV. I almost am like training myself. This is beautiful. Like, you're teaching me this stuff.
So you put it on grayscale,
kind.
it make your phone so boring. So like when I was really being disciplined in that,
yes,
I was doing it from Monday to Friday, no color on my iPhone. Only on the weekends did I have color on my iPhone. And it was working like a charm. It cut down my screen time by like 80%.
Listen, I'm not these are the facts. I'm so glad that you just shared that, because somebody in the world needs that, because we are addicted to something.
Mm-hmm.
That we're all addicted to something. And I feel like with all of us, I don't care whatever you have tried, scrolling.
You ever eat food without season or salad without dressing?
Yes.
You got full faster, didn't you? Because it was boring. It's all we overeat because of how seasoned our food is, how flavorful it is. So we want to keep eating more, because now at this point we're addicted to the euphoric feeling of, oh, this food's so good, I want to keep eating it. But if you take away the season, you take away the flavor, you will get full much faster, because your body like, all right, nigga, I'm tired of chewing this food.
Right,
like, and like, all right, I'm tired of swiping. I'm tired of scrolling. You ain't looking at nothing but colorless images. Yeah, so it's like
aspect of things, what we see.
It's all the same. It's like it's just controlling, and that's a form of manipulation. It's like we now manipulating or controlling the amount of endorphins. Now you take back control of the endorphins you release, and when you release your endorphins.
I love that. All right, Sam, where can we find it again?
Oh yeah,
on our
yeah.
phone?
So I mean, it's under accessibility.
Not screen time.
Yeah, it's not screen time. It's under accessibility, under display. But you could just literally go to your general settings in that search bar, type in color filters, and it'll take you directly to it. You swipe it on, and you're gonna automatically see like your phone turns gray. And look, it literally. And now with the update, you could just type it in the regular homepage.
Yeah.
Boom. So
Okay.
now I go to Instagram.
Yeah, boring.
It look boring. It look like a newspaper.
So you're saying that we automatically have to do this, or over a period of the day it will actually go to gray if we like put this on a time?
Ooh, I wonder if you can do that. I feel like with iPhone they have these automations that you can set, which a lot of us don't know about. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's an automation that I could set that.
That's great. Like honestly, that would be like so dope to teach in like high school or college. The reason why I say this is because I feel like the younger people struggle so much with identity crisis and like who they have to be, and who they want to be. You know, we didn't have all that stuff growing up. We didn't have to fight with. We only had to fight with like Keisha, that was the bully, or like Sarah. You know what I mean, like the mean girl.
Or fight with our parents on letting us go outside.
That's it. Like it wasn't that big, where it was a war within ourselves so much. You know. And some of us had it.
I think the worst you had was like if a kid came to school and they dressed nicer than you.
That's what I'm
you
saying.
probably
You got
wonder,
bullied,
or they got shoes that you wish you had.
You know, it was just kind of it just wasn't this.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely love that.
Mm-hmm.
That hack right there, to be able to give your children a tool, your sisters, your brothers, being a big brother, big sister, you know what I mean, out here
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who it is.
It's crazy.
A tool to be able to, because it's real adults that are struggling with this. I got 50-year-old, 60-year-old, sometimes my dad is on the internet more than me.
Yeah.
And you're
No.
like, hello.
And it's like, there's a reason why they call TikTok TikTok. It's like, you on that thing all day.
Wow.
You wasting away your time. Like, they telling you what it is. It's like, and I'm guilty of it. It's like, at one point, TikTok became a part of my night routine. Like, okay, before I go to bed, let me get a couple scrolls in and entertain myself real quick. And it's like, next thing I know, it was 40 minutes. I'm like, damn, I ain't in bed yet. I ain't sleep yet.
No. And then it turns to 1 o'clock, 1:30. Here's the biggest question for you. So I have one girlfriend, and literally, she's addicted to podcasts.
Oh, she's addicted to podcasts.
So listen, and there's more people that I've actually
addiction.
talked to that they love podcasts. What do you think about this? Being that, this is your heart. This is one of your babies.
Mm-hmm.
You've literally tapped into, being a resource house to people, deciding what content goes out, what your audience is hearing. Like, how do you feel about that when we talk about just the addiction of scrolling on maybe social media? How impactful, like, podcasts can be or take away from the time.
Yeah. That's like, so, all right. Now, granted, I'm sure that they use that word loosely when they said they were addicted to podcasts. But I would start off by saying, like, addiction in any form is toxic, right? Like, you could be addicted to water, and it could be deadly for you. Yeah. You could be addicted to reading books, and now you're no longer social, and you no longer interact with people. But I would say it would depend on what types of podcasts she's consuming herself into. Because at the end of the day, podcasts can be another form of social media. Because, just like the news. It's like, if you're addicted to watching the news, you're not really being informed. You're just putting yourself into an echo chamber of fear. Yeah. So it's like, it just depends on what type of content that you consume. And if you love and enjoy, podcasts like this one, right? Yes. Or like anyone that's, helping you with professional development, personal development, giving you some game, it's like, that's a very good way to spend your time. Especially if you could replace that with, watching Netflix or some TV, you up. Because it's like, now you consuming a whole lot of information that most people not consuming. You able to entertain yourself with information as opposed to solely entertainment. And that's all. And I know that's why I like to try to make this platform more of a edutainment platform where people can be entertained and educated at the same time. Got it. We might talk our shit, we might banter a little bit, but at the game, we still want to give some practical game for people to walk away with. Right. So I think if she's consuming the right content, good for her. Good for her. But if she's like consuming, the red pill, blue pill relationship podcasts, which are they're just talk shows of what we see on social media, then I would encourage her to find a different outlet. Yeah. It
could be that echo of I'm single.
Men ain't this, women ain't that. It's like the gender war and all that other stuff. It's like, that's dangerous because you really start believing in that. And then the more you believe it, here's the sad thing. You start to only attract the people who you don't want. Yeah. Like that's why I don't like saying good luck. I don't like telling people, oh, don't do this or why, be careful from this, is because I don't even want you thinking about that. Right. If you're supposed to be enjoying your trip, I'm not going to tell you to be careful of all the dangerous things that can happen to you on your trip.
You're projecting that.
I'm projecting it, right? Yeah. And I don't like when people do that to me, and I definitely don't want to do it to you, because why even make you think you're supposed to be out there enjoying your trip?
It's power in the time.
Yeah.
That's your first step to manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I totally agree. Man, so I don't know. Just was thinking about that. I know that I've seen people really into podcasts, but I agree with you. Podcasts are more informational.
Yeah.
To sit there and be able to elaborate on something and take your time out to put that effort into talking about it, you're usually gonna grasp something more than just a scroll where thing can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
It's usually just, you know, a slander house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really quick. So yeah.
And it gives people the information that they might not be able to consume. You know, we are in a period where, you know, more and more people are watching as opposed to reading. A lot of us don't read books anymore, which is sad. But it's like, if I could do the hard part by reading more books and then bring the information to the audience for them to be able to watch, you know, that's also another reason why I do what I like. I love to read.
All right, so let's do something for the audience today. Let's recommend 3 books.
That's related to.
You recommend 3, I'll recommend 3 that you feel would help, you know, just to build that individual or just keeping them, you know, off of social media, maybe scrolling.
Okay.
But, you know, into themselves and still, you know, it's going to be entertaining or impactful for them.
Yeah. I got one I could think of offhand because this is the one where I got the game about, not the color filters. I related this to this game I got from this book, but about the bland food, right? Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a book that I read once a year at least. Because, you know, like we spoke last time, it's like every once in a while we get into these periods where we got periods and seasons where we really discipline and we got seasons where we fall off.
Yep.
Once I enter that season where I fall off, I end up picking that book up immediately because it gets me right back into creating processes and systems for being more disciplined and just to make it easier for me to be disciplined. Like I'm telling you, I got tips on, you know, putting my alarm, my phone in the other room just so I could wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to physically get up, go out, get it, drink that cold water, shock your system.
Yeah.
Like that's stuff that was in that book. So I would definitely recommend Atomic Habits. Some other books I would recommend is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. That is another good book on helping people identify the things that are truly important, not the things we think are important, things that we think that are truly important. Yeah, essentializing and choosing a priority over priorities. See, a lot of us don't even understand
that one.
Yeah, a lot of us don't even understand that priorities is a conundrum because the word priority originated from a Latin word that means the first and only. So when we say we got priorities, how we got multiple first and onlys? It's a conundrum. It's an oxymoron. So, you know, we got to go back into thinking like what's solely important, because when you figure out what's the most important thing, all your activities, beliefs, and ideas start to align with that. But when you got several important things, now think about it, you got 7 things and you got all these activities and ideas that's supposed to build up individually to these 7 things, as opposed to having one thing that then stacks onto these tasks and ideas that you're supposed to be doing. So that's the second one. And the third one I would say is How to Outwit the Devil by Napoleon Hill. How to Outwit the Devil by Napoleon Hill is a good book. Another book that you could probably read once a year. And it's so crazy because they rewrote the book. Napoleon been, you know, dead probably for 70 years now. They rewritten this book to make it more modern to what we're currently dealing with. And it talks about how the devil uses fear, addiction, all these things we talked about with the social media. The devil is using these things to make you feel like you cannot be who you want to be. And if you feel like you have been just to be undisciplined. Yep. Like when I feel like I'm not disciplined, I read that book because I'm reminded that the devil is touching me for a little bit too long. When I feel like I can't take back control over my will.
Yeah, I think your books are so powerful. I don't read. I'm one of those people. I don't read. So being able just to ask that question and then just to get the fruit from you, like just to hear you, like you make me want to read more. You make me want to sit down and be more still with me and do those. When you say read it, you can read it every year. Yeah, man, you over here challenging. You challenging me too.
That's why I buy the books.
You're inspiring me. You know, so I'll share my books. I don't know if I have as many, but like I said, I'm not a reader.
Just give me your top one. What's your favorite?
One of my top ones that I recommend, especially if you're not a reader, but you're gonna get something from them, is It's What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey.
What I never read that book.
It was one of the, you can read it every year. It's like small inserts, right, of life experiences, and then, you know, her elaborating on it from her perspective, and, you know, to hear a millionaire billionaire's perspective that came from nothing, I mean, it's priceless. And for them to share their life with you, it's the wisdom, it's the experience. It's not just a story; it is someone's story, right? That many admire. So I highly encourage you to read that book. What I Know for Sure about Oprah Winfrey. It helps me a lot. And then the second one, this one was referred to me by a friend before, and we ended up being a book club, and it has changed my life. I've bought this book for over 10 people. This is how big the book is. And
At this point, you advocating for the book. You done
yes,
bought it
like
for the
this
people.
woman should be
I buy this
a
book for
billionaire.
you. Yeah.
Which she probably already is, but she was, listen, it's called Calling in the One by Catherine Woodward. And yes, from the cover, it looks like love. Like you're supposed to be like calling in the one, you're finding love in 7 weeks or something like that. It is far bigger than that ever could be. Because how everybody's searching for this one thing. They want love. They want their person. You hear all these women talk about they want to be married. I mean, I get it. I wasn't that girl hollering I wanted to be married my whole life, but I do now. But first, how can you ever be married successfully if you haven't found the love for you?
Yeah, that's big.
So Calling in the One by Catherine Woodward changed the whole thing of like, honey, I'm not even prepared for this. I'm not prepared.
Help you take that step back.
You are, and it makes you super excited to be able to choose in your wisdom now of you're not in a rush, you're more in flow of who you are, what you need to be, and what you need to be attracting. You can be attracting your worst freaking nightmare, and you don't even know it because it's the echo.
Because it's the echo.
It's the echo. So Calling in the One by Catherine Woodward was definitely, and I read it all the time. I have it on audio book. I think it's more like a therapy session.
Yeah.
It is a therapy session. I mean, from giving up your power to, you know, knowing where you want to lie in things. Are you even ready to go on certain escapades? You know, what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know, like.
I like that. I like those books. I'm gonna check out. I'm definitely going to check out the one you mentioned with Oprah.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm interested in that one. That one sounds.
By my bed.
Yeah, that one sounds interesting. And the one with Catherine Woodward you just mentioned reminds me of. I want to give out one other book to recommend, because this book is similar as far as the therapy sessions.
Okay.
But you take it in micro doses, which I appreciate about the book so much. It's called The Book of Becoming. And it's 365 pages. A little bit more, right?
Love it.
But the reason why is because each page is one day. Every day you read an entry and he just gives you a little taste of what you need to hear to center yourself. You know, think about some gratitude. You know, it's great for meditation, great to just, you know, realize where you are and what you need to focus on for the day. One of my favorite excerpts from that book was, I think this was a day in June. He was talking about the bee always comes. And it was about just realizing that the things around you are always going to happen. And we don't even understand that there's no such thing as circumstance. There's no such thing as accidents. It's all by design. And these things happen when they're supposed to happen. Even if you think that this bee is supposed to come because it came for the last 3 years, every day at 3:00, tomorrow is going to come at 5:00, but that's because it was supposed to, right? And so the bee always comes just reminds me to just recenter myself and just worrying about what I need to worry about and not everything else that's going on, because that's supposed to happen why it's supposed to happen. Right. I just need to focus on why I'm supposed to happen.
Right.
And how I'm supposed to happen too.
Right. I love that. So my last book, which, you know, it's been saving my life, and I think in every, season or being.
Okay.
It changes. It's the Bible.
Mm.
Man, I remember where I could read it and I was like, what is this talking about? Or where I just perceived it just in different ways, maybe just on real basic levels. But as I evolve, my mind expands and I just get to have different encounters. It's like a new book every time.
Every time.
And you'll never, it's funny how it'll meet you. Like how you said, like it's divinity, like divine timing, order. Like it'll be that story. And even though you read it before.
Yeah, it hit you different this time.
You're hearing it right now because you're in a whole different season in your life.
Yeah.
And so always reading that one, always picking a book. I mean, there's so much meat to it just because you're evolving with it. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that we was able to provide that feedback too, because sometimes it is hard. Like when you don't know where to start. All of my best books, when I was going through some tough times, were recommended to me by me being able to step out of myself and have a conversation with somebody and just say, hey, this is what I'm going through and I need some help. Yeah. But not everybody has that feeling where they, or have those people that they're blessed enough to even call to like that. So for us to be able to call out these books and call out their purpose too, so people could say, oh, I'm going through this, I need this book, or I'm going through that, I need this book. I really love that for the audience too.
Me too.
So yeah, I mean, this was another great conversation. And Jazz, I'm just really excited about having you on here. Like for real.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited because I'm excited for the opportunity. The opportunity to speak. Everybody always said I was unconventional, or just, preaching, or I have something to say, or people need to hear you. So just you providing that, that opportunity, your grace and your gift. Man, I hope that we can just be a gift to other people.
Yeah.
Even in social media, it has to be more great things. Hopefully we echoing back to people's heart, spirits, mind, and soul to where they tapping into them. Because you can be scrolling all day, but make sure you turn that shit to gray.
Yeah. Turn it to gray. And
make sure you turn it to gray.
Yeah.
And get into you. And even getting in one of those books and getting still. So it's not easy to be still. But to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm about to buy a book. It costs $14 or $8.99. I can buy the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Shoot, you can go to the Goodwill and find some of these books.
Yeah.
People give them up all the time because it just making more space, and it's your gift. So, but getting still with those books we recommended.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we, speaking of the social media too, like for those that are, some are more apt to social media than others, and for those that are using social media obviously for the right reasons and trying to promote themselves and their brand, I want to remind y'all to join us on Tuesday, because this Tuesday we're going to be talking specifically on how to just line up your social media page for personal branding, for making it your business card. It's a business card at the end of the day. Your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, whatever, should be a place where people can easily identify what you do, what you love, and reach out when they have questions so that you can build out that portfolio. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday in the creators community. So make sure you join us live on Zoom, become a member so that you can join our pre-live and post-live party. And if you ain't, still trying to tiptoe, you can still become an ambassador. Make sure you hit that join button at the channel at the top. All right. Can't wait to see y'all on the next episode of $1 Million Mind. See y'all Monday.